Let's understand the most important operators in JavaScript. Let's imagine we have num1, which is equal to 5, for example, and we have num2, which is equal to 10, for example. Now we can, for example, create a third number, which is equal to num1 plus num2. And now let's just console.log num3 inside of the console. And once we run our code, you can see that we have 15 inside of the console. Besides addition, we can obviously also use subtraction. And if we run the code, we now get -5. To multiply two numbers, we can use the asterisk symbol. To divide, we can use the division symbol. To get the remainder, we can use the percent sign. And I want to show you how this one works. Let's say we have 15, for example, for the first number, and let's say we have 10, or let's say we have 5 for the second number. Now, if we use this modulo operator, so this percent sign, and we're going to run our code, we'll have 0 inside of our console. Because if you divide 15 by 5, you basically have a remainder of 0. Because 15 divided by 5 works perfectly fine. But if we say 17, for example, divided by 5, we can divide 15 by 5, and this works perfectly fine. But 17 divided by 5 does not really work, and you have a remainder of 2, for example. So this will output the remainder, and I'm going to show you how this works. So we're going to run the code, and now we have a remainder of 2. And now to raise num1 to the power of num2, we're basically going to use the asterisk symbol twice. So now let's save the file and run this code again. And as you can see, we get this number. To make it a little bit easier, let's say we're going to raise the number 3 by the power of 2, and let's run the code, and we get 9. So now let's imagine we just have num1, and we are logging num1 inside of the console. Now, to increment num1, we could also go ahead and say num1 is equal to num1 plus 1. And this would obviously increment num1 by 1. And if we're going to log this in a console, we obviously get the value 4 because 3 plus 1 is 4. Now, there's also shorter spelling for the exact same thing by going ahead and saying num1 plus plus. And this means exactly the same. And now if we are going ahead and logging this in the console, we again get 4. Obviously, you can also use the decrement operator by using -, and now once we log this in the console, we get 2. There are also different modifications to the assignment operator. So now, as you saw, we can basically say we want to assign a value to our number by using a single equal sign. And this basically means whatever you have at the right will be assigned to the variable at the left. Now there also exists a plus equal sign. So if we are going to say num1 is equal to num1 plus 10, we are basically saying take num1, which is 3, and add 10 to this number. Now there's also a shorter way to say the exact same thing by using plus equal, for example. And now we can, for example, say we just want to add 10. And this basically means as much as num1 is equal to num1 plus 10. And now if we are going to log this in the console, we get 13. Obviously, you can also do minus equals, and this just means take num1 minus 10. So we're going to run the code, and we get -7. You can do the same with multiplication and with division, for example.